Hatepu, Necherak, Amen Rapata, Nutatered Amen Rapata, Nuka Amen Rapata. I pay homage to my elders, teachers, and guides. I pay homage to all of my ancestors. I like to acknowledge all who are both here and on the other side, those who have guided me and helped me to get to where I am today. Uncle Chaseneb Hatepu. Today, or should I say, as of now, we're going to do a video on the masculine and feminine principle and the Ankh. So, the Ankh, also known as, in Latin, they call it Cruz and Santa, is the key of eternal life and solarization. It symbolizes the force that keeps you in your body. The Ankh represents duality in gender. However, it was a solar icon, usually made out of gold or copper. The dual nature of male and female. So the word dual contains the word dua in the Kemetic language, meaning praise, in ancient Comitian or modern Arabic, if you may. The Kemetic dua position shows a person standing upright with both palms facing upwards. This would indicate that an act of praise was the sending out of positive energy. The person who gives praise is a person who gives to others as a sign of appreciation of life. This process is also in a ritual called lovemaking, or what people might call sex. The word sex comes from the Latin word sexus, meaning divided. Okay? So, from that case, in that situation, they were looking at sex as being a division and so forth. The solarized being is a giver as well as a receiver. The complete person is a giver by his and her very presence. They always have plenty to give because all of their prayers are always answered because of the fact that they're givers. So when you give yourself permission to receive. Yet the complete person understands this, that giving and receiving is the ebb and flow of existence, hence the world being considered a marketplace. This is the life and the process of exchange between male and female. That's the flow of love. And between male and female, this energy is created that brings forth life. The word love is hidden in the word evolve. So the Comitian word for love is mer, which also means ascension and cultivation. So when two people love each other, they energetically merge and can both participate in the process of ascension. In the solarization book called the Holy Bible, that is the solar pages, or the solar book, or the sun book, it speaks of Adam knowing his wife. And to know is to experience the intimacy of something or someone. The male, the fire, emerges with the female, the water, and causes vapor, which ascends upwards. Ascension is maintained as a result of the activation of the Ankh. This is the sacred marriage. Organic life is organized. So when Ra rises out of the watery chaos of Nun, he lays his foundation in Ma'at, and he organizes by creating the cosmos. Nun represents the undifferentiated energy from which all arises from. Cosmos means order. So once the cosmos has been arranged in a certain way, it is suitable to sustain and maintain living organisms which arise from the organization and formation of atoms, molecules like DNA and RNA, proteins, amino acids, and so forth. We see that the word organism contains the word organ. An organ is an instrument that plays music. Living things have organs. Life becomes rhythmic, responding to rhythm itself. Sickness, disease, poverty, and disasters are all examples of discord, which is musical, notes that seem out of harmony, yet nevertheless part of the same song. Hence, the uni verse or the universe, the one song. So just like in a relationship between lovers who can love each other but still have arguments, nothing can function in a physical universe without the interaction of male and female energies. And when they are in balance, there will be less discord and arguments and more expressions of love, life, and harmony. But when couples see themselves working together with love and light, they become more organized and create beautiful music together. So we have Hedhoru, also known as Hathor. She brings the breath of life and joy until Ra because of her love. You can see that Ra, and then you have Osir, or Ra, or Osiris, if you may. They're both referred to as Nabunk, meaning the Lord of Life. Ra conquers death and with a series of transformations as he makes his journey through what is called the Duat. Ra and Osir both represent the regeneration, and life cycles. So Ra is the life force, while Ra is the life germ. Asar, or Osir, if you may, lives within our being as the seed of ancestral selves, or the ancestral self, the ancestral substance, that which germinates and plants in the soil and it grows new life. The eye that guards the seed, Ra, is life, strength, and health. So Ra is the fire that emerges out of the Nun, the watery abyss. All protein-based life emerges out of water. Each living thing contains the living flames and waters of life. Just like the human genome, water stores and contains the actual history of creation itself. Therefore, water also contains the fire of life. So in the chapter of knowing Ra's creation, Ra begins this creative process where he sneezes out Shu, the principle of heat, and spits out Tefnut, the principle of moisture. So it's like Shu, and then you have to spit. It's like Shu and Tefnut, right? These principles are the twins, Shu and Tefnut. Shu is the masculine principle, and Tefnut is the feminine. And together, they create life, and that is the life-sustaining atmosphere in which you and I may live in. The Ankh is the instrument that activates the breath of life. It indicates a tie of heaven to earth. The loop is female, and the heavenly womb sacred to Nut. And the extended bottom is the phallic symbol, which is sacred to Geb, or Seb, if you may. The two horizontal extensions are sacred to Shu and Tefnut, heat and moisture. So we have the four elements encoded within the Ankh itself because of their important role in transformation, renewal, and continuity. The upper and lower parts of the Ankh expresses the principle of gender. So it is the unification of heaven and earth, male and female, that sustains, maintains, and renews life. Kenemu spins his potter's wheel to mold humans along with their Kas out of clay. This suggests that the Ka has its own physicality. It's a beautiful thing, because it also is an indication that the subtle aspect of us is manifested first, and then the more gross physical aspect of us. So everything comes down into physical form from the subtle plane into the more gross and dense plane. After the work of Kenemu is complete, Heteru comes forth and places the Ankh to the lips of the clay figures and brings them to life. Kenemu, who has the head of the ram, right? The ram is a protector as well as a symbol of authority, and the sun. Kenemu is the consciousness that shapes, molds, and protects in the womb. So his main ingredient is DNA, which itself contains the four letters of life that are actually proteins. So hence he molds the clay into a body and a soul, and encodes both vehicles with ancestral information. The Africa indigenous wisdom teaches that the soul of the individual is inherited through the bloodlines of their parents. The information of the soul is contained within the genes, which is the perfect reason to learn genetics. So from a holistic point of view, it has nothing to do with such madness as creating some master race to enslave all humans, but to unlock the secrets of our existence and take a holistic approach in our spiritual evolution. As for Asar, there's always been a lot of emphasis on becoming Osir while alive. However, becoming Osir while alive is actually more or less awakening that Osir which is within you. The concept in ancient Comitian tradition teaches that you become an Osarified being after you actually leave this physical life. Okay? So, the point is, there has never actually been a king or queen in the lineages that you may read about who has Asar as a first name, okay? Outside of the story of Asar, or Osir. Only a worthy ancestor can become an Osir, or an Osiris, if you may. Osir, the main is in Amenta, the hidden land. Hence, Osir is called Kentaminti, the Lord of Amenta. So how is it that Osir, called Nebunk, Lord of Life, yet be identified with the so-called deceased? All the knowledge and experience living beings accumulate goes back into the earth when they go through transformation we call death. It's a process, okay? So it's not the finality of your being. This planet is a living being, and humans are here to spiritualize matter and raise the vibration of the planet. We are literally helping this planet to evolve in consciousness by sharing our collective experience. So it is important for the well-being of all life forms that we grow and evolve in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Each human being, each human body that is buried in the soil of the earth is a seed of intelligence. It is true that we are also the children of Geb and Nut. So when humans go through the process of what appears to be death, the Ba goes to heaven and the Kat, which is the physical body, goes back to the earth. So in the Commission literature, in the Pernim Haru Imger, it says Ba Repet Kat Rta, meaning the soul to heaven and the body to earth. And this is why in the earlier time periods of Kemet, the body was buried in a fetal position to represent the earth being the womb to which the physical body returns to. However, there is more. Eventually, the priests began to mummify the bodies of select individuals, because even though the Ba, or the spirit, was separated from the body of the Kat, the body still has a function as a shrine to communicate with the spirit that once inhabited it. So therefore, the body had to be made into the Sahu, which is called the incorruptible body. While on Earth, we accumulate more experiences and make more discoveries, and all of this information is transferred back to the Earth when the Kat breaks down and returns back into the soil. The reward for living a productive and fulfilling life is to become an Osir in the so-called afterlife. While with our ancestors, we are liberated beings, and we claim our place among the stars. In the meantime, Haru must avenge the wrongs done to his mother and father, and therefore inherit the throne. But what exactly is this throne? Okay? Now, when we look at things done correctly, right, is living according to Ma'at, you become that vessel in which the Creator expresses itself through in fullness as you align yourself with your destiny. By correct thinking, correct living, and mastery, that will activate the alchemical process of self-transformation and awakening the inner resurrection of Osir, becoming that is, from chaos and ignorance in order to achieve self-realization. That is the coming forth by day from night. This is symbolized on a palette of Narmer, who is shown defeating the enemies of Ma'at and unifying Upper and Lower Kemet, and it is said by some that Narmer established the first dynasty and laid the foundation for divine kingship. Hence, once you have united the higher aspect of yourself with the lower aspect of yourself, you become the master of the two lands. This is Samai Tawi. The Matian lifestyle was meant to align humans with the great plan. So, for self-mastery, it is the destiny of all living things. In the face of great opposition, the African continues to carry on their legacy. The African, aka our sisters and brothers, they must continue to participate in their great work. We have our own magnum opus to perform. We have our own great work to complete. And each and every individual have their own great work so that they can live life and make discoveries and awaken their divine qualities. But we will have to relearn to work as a collective along with personal development and the cultivation of love and happiness. May Ma'at prevail in divine love and light. Ankh Ucha Seneb. Hatepu.